Good day, fellow Nigerians from all over the world. It is another Friday in Nigeria, and I welcome you to this weekend episode of The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. The tension in Nigeria continues as the issues causing Nigerians to weep seem to be piling up with each passing day. Back in the days, we used to complain about not being able to completely solve problems that have bedeviled us for many years. But nowadays, those problems have not only remained unsolved, they have worsened and have taken different devastating dimensions. And as we speak, Aso Rock is under serious tension because they can feel the tension in the air. Just few hours ago, Shettima summoned NNPC boss Kyari, Minister of State for Petroleum, and the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu to the villa for serious talk on the state of the nation. But the petroleum guys said there is nothing they can do about the hike in the price of petroleum. And the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu also had nothing positive to say about the worsening spate of insecurity in Nigeria. In fact, shortly after the meeting, reports broke out that terrorists attacked Yobe State once again, to the point that they had to conduct a mass burial in the state after the attack. Look at it. While 34 victims were buried, residents of Yobe village attacked by ISWAP claim many are still missing. What a tragedy. And now, top APC chiefs have thrown the villa into crisis, insisting that Tinubu must begin sacking ministers and many of those surrounding him who are giving him the wrong advice. Other APC chiefs are pointing fingers at Tinubu himself for the failure. One said he does not want to talk about those surrounding him because he appointed them and the buck stops at his table. And to worsen the crisis, APC members at the National Assembly have voiced out against Tinubu. They are now asking him to revert the recent increase in the price of petrol. Before I show you these videos depicting the crisis in Aso Rock and APC and the position of APC National Assembly members concerning the recent increase in the price of fuel, let me quickly show you this video where Obasanjo took a brutal dig at Tinubu. See the video.
Current realities, no character in leadership. Current realities, impunity in misbehavior. Current realities, no consequence for misdemeanor or misconduct. What is the way forward? From what I said about Papa Akintola Williams, pedigree, background, upbringing, character, morality, ethics.
You heard that. Our current reality shows no character in leadership. It shows impunity in misbehavior. And that is why we are where we are today, according to Olusegun Obasanjo. He said upbringing, proper upbringing is lacking. Many at the helm of affairs have no proper upbringing. That is why there is no limit to their misbehavior. We are not looking for saints in Nigeria. We just want human beings with conscience. But unfortunately, the APC eats up people's consciences. Even if you have conscience, once you join the APC, your conscience will melt. Just look at the state of the country. People trekking to work in major cities in Nigeria. And this is just the beginning. Even that work they are trekking to, before you know, those businesses will begin to fold up. Because if pump price increase from 195 naira to 617, which was done in May 29 last year, saw thousands of businesses collapse, then 617 to over 1,000 naira will definitely collapse more businesses. And as such, APC chiefs can no longer take it. And that takes me to my next update. APC chiefs can no longer take what is happening in Nigeria. The state of the country, despicable. They are now saying that people must be sacked, that the Tinubu cabinet must almost be torn down for another one to be formed, especially in the area of the economy, they are calling CBN Governor Yemi Cardoso and Minister of Finance Wale Edun textbook economists who don't know the actual reality of Nigeria. Another APC chief does not even want to blame the people surrounding Tinubu. He directed his own blame to Tinubu himself. But what they have failed to realize is that you cannot build on a faulty foundation. It's not about changing cabinet. This is the same man that you praised and tagged a specialist at assembling the right people to do the job. If you like, form 3 new cabinets, the situation will only get worse. And that is why Mahmoud Jega is saying he does not want to talk about the people surrounding Tinubu but Tinubu himself. Before I take Mahmoud Jega's interview, let's listen to this APC chief who wants almost everyone sacked. See the video.
But going down to your question, I don't want to defend some of these expenditures. I'm not here as a government spokesperson.
You've said that.
Therefore, as a caveat, I'm not going to defend that because to me, it will show sensitivity and compassion. That is why I says people around Mr. President, I give him wrong advice. If I were Mr. President today, I would have sacked almost virtually all the ministers and what have you. To get new people, new advisors, because some of this economic team, they are just mere newspaper tigers as far as I'm concerned. They can only limit themselves towards the textbooks econometrics without looking at the proper inventory of Nigeria's economic system, looking at the poor masses, as a ladder. With all these problems, must we buy a new jet? If you ask me, I'll say yes, and I'll say no. Yes, because recently we've seen how some of the former presidents, the presidents that died recently from other countries, Iran and all that, had air crashes. I could have bought one. But how do I do it? I will sell some of the aircrafts in the presidential fleet, gather the money together and buy a good one. Instead of allowing the fleets there, pumping our monies every time, servicing every time, working on it, spending our hard-earned currencies. Therefore, I would have sold the fleet, some of the fleets, and get a new one. Then no, in the sense that for us to be very sensitive to the earnings and aspirations of Nigerians. And in 2027, which is just by the corner, election is coming up. The way Nigerians today, in terms of aggregation of opinion, in terms of sensitivity, with the current economic tempo, Nigerians are not finding it funny. But Tinubu has history by his side. He has 2 more or 3 more years to change the whole economic, the dynamics of governance. And therefore, look at every parameter of democratic practice. We know that there is no democracy that will be able to give you 100% satisfaction. And this is where we are. As painful as Mr. President's decision, to take some of these policies, which he knows to his heart that is painful, I am sure he's looking for a way out to see to the possibilities of maybe finding solutions.
You heard that. That was APC chieftain Ibrahim Modibo tearing Tinubu's cabinet apart there. He said the economist in charge, that is CBN Governor Cardoso and Minister of Finance, they are the main economists in this government. And Ibrahim Modibo is calling them textbook economists who have failed Nigerians. Modibo is hoping that Tinubu can save the situation with the 2 years he has left, but if we are to be honest, we know that that will not happen. First of all, you have to ask yourself if the present ruling class is interested in that happening. The Akpabios, the Tajudins, the Gbajabiamilas, etc. Are they interested in turning things around for the good of Nigeria or interested in their own pockets? That is the first question you need to ask. And without doubt, they are only concerned about their own pockets. And even if you are going to make new appointments, these are the people that will make recommendations. So they will recommend people that will remit to them. And even if Tinubu should sit down and search out people himself, when those people come in, all of them will also be concerned about their own personal interests. They will say, the present ministers have eaten and they have gone and nothing happened to them. Let me also eat my own and go. Why? Because the foundation of the government is built upon eating, upon my turn, upon a milocon. So everybody will work for his own selfish interest. When the foundation is faulty, there's nothing even the righteous can do unless the foundation itself is uprooted. And that is why in my next video, Mahmoud Jega says he does not even want to dwell on blaming the people surrounding Tinubu, but the man himself. See the video.
Personally, I don't want to spend much time usually about people around. The executive presidency, and the same applies to governors at the state level, has absolute prerogative. The only people who are elected in the whole large executive branch are the president and the vice president. Everybody else serves at the pleasure of the president. And he has absolute prerogative to choose, not only within the country, but even outside. Former President Obasanjo, used to identify high-flying Nigerians abroad and bring them. And not just high-flying Nigerians, even foreigners, if you want. You have the absolute prerogative. Therefore, honestly, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to say, it is the people around the president who are not performing, who are not doing. There is certainly an element of that. But since the president has the absolute prerogative to fire people and appoint new ones any day, with or without reason, either using what the PDP man said, the Hadiza Bala Usman template of assessment, or even without any template of assessment. So the president should reach his own conclusion as to whether the ministers and advisors he has assembled are serving the purpose or not. But certainly in the end, the buck stops on the president's desk, as Harry Truman.
You heard that. Mahmoud Jega was kind of mincing words there though, but anyone with a brain would know where he was driving at. He says a president everywhere in the world has the executive power to hire and fire. He even talked about Obasanjo, who was hiring from outside Nigeria. You can even bring in foreigners just to get the job done. You have the power. So if you wield such a power and you are failing, it doesn't make any sense to mention anyone else, to try to put the blame on anyone else. The buck stops at your table. And this was the excuse they kept making for Buhari for 8 years. It was after he left office that everyone in this country began to properly and unanimously address him as the failure that he is. That's exactly what some people are trying to do now. In the case of Tinubu, hiding under the people surrounding him cliche to point out that he has totally failed. Now, let us look at how the National Assembly, House of Representatives to be precise, kicked against this recent increase in the price of petrol by the Tinubu regime. Look at how the papers reported it. House of Reps asks Tinubu NNPCL to reverse petrol price hike to 617 amid soaring living costs, reporters. Following a recent directive by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, to increase petrol prices from 617 naira to 897 naira, the House of Representatives Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream has called on Bola Tinubu to revert to the previous price. The hike has triggered an immediate and substantial surge in the prices of commodities and transportation, consequently impacting the purchasing power of consumers. The committee chairman, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, said in a statement that we urge the federal government and, of course, the NNPCL to consider the plight of Nigerians and suspend this recent increase in pump price. He continued, let us revert to the old pump price as soon as possible and probably intensify engagements with major stakeholders to address the problem. Doguwa, who also heads the Special Committee on Crude Oil Theft and Vandalization of Pipelines, promised to address the revenue losses from crude oil theft. As a special committee, we will aggressively seek modalities to interface with the youth and community leaders in the oil-producing areas, he stressed. Crude oil theft. So should we be punished for it? Don't Nigerians know the people that are responsible for this crude oil theft? Everybody knows that crude oil theft is a multi-billion business. The average man cannot do it. Peter Obi has proved over time before Elumelu, who is their friend, came out to confirm it just few weeks ago, that the people in power are the ones engaging in this thing. So why should the masses suffer for it? And now House of Rep members are coming out to say that no, they have to revert to the old price. And some Nigerians are saying that even that old price is too high, that even 617 is too high for Nigeria and oil producing states. But my answer to that would be, if 617 is too high, then what is the reaction of Nigerians? Now they have taken it to 1,000, over 1,000 now it's selling. What is still the reaction of Nigerians? NLC is coming to say that they will not strike immediately, but they have been deceived by government. What a stupid thing to say. During Jonathan period, was there any announcement before the strike? If Nigerians are not comfortable with the pump price, why have they not flooded the streets? They should take it to 3,000 naira per litre or even 4,000 naira per litre. It is good for Nigerians. But let's look at how Nigerians reacted to this move by the House of Reps. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. And this tweet here by Olamilekon says, "These ones gone they craze. Why 617 naira? Why not 300 naira since we are now buying from Dangote? Why does the pain of Nigerians mean nothing to you people, for God's sake?" And Olawoyin replied, he said they don't care whether anyone is in pain or not. That is it. 100% correct with the APC. They don't care if Nigerians are in pain or not. Nigerians have to realize this and prioritize their own welfare. Come together and kick these guys out. And this tweet by Alabi Ayodeji says, "I don't even understand anymore. You were subsidizing for importation, which is expensive, but we are finding it hard to subsidize for products produced in Nigeria that is cheaper without landing and shipping cost. I guess the Malta guys are not ready to give up their importation." That is it. All the top politicians that have refineries outside Nigeria, they must make sure that the business of bringing crude oil to their refineries to refine does not stop. So they'll do everything to frustrate local production of petrol. That's exactly what is happening. And this tweet here by Honorable Real One says, "Fuel was 187 naira the very day he was inaugurated. Crazy how the talk is now caged to above 600 naira in just 15 months. This is extremely pathetic. Very, very pathetic. But we never expected anything less. Because these people, they no get conscience. If we talk, it go be like say we just they criticize them for nothing. And the worst is that this is not even the worst. The worst is still to come. It will keep getting harder as the days go by. And this tweet here by End Bad Governance says, "Same old tactics. They take it up, the masses shout, then they bring it down, but not to the previous price. APC just runs this country like Kalu Kalu, and the masses will chest it. Better die fighting than be quiet and still die. Fear, fear, Nigerians." And Didi here says, "Even the military administration led the country with caution. Nigeria witnessed series of protests during those periods. Whoever is deceiving him that he can capture a nation of multi-ethnic nationalities and over 200 million Nigerians is his worst enemy." Oh, Nigerians must never allow themselves to be captured. If they allow themselves, they will very well be captured. And Ademola here says, "Fuel should be around 250 naira to 300 naira per litre. Anything other than that should be boycotted and heavily rejected by Nigerians." And I keep saying it. All these things they say, petrol this, landing cost, NNPC is owing this, is owing that. It is because Nigerians are not yet ready to buy cheap petrol. If 10,000 Nigerians in all the 36 states of this country plus the FCT, that's 37 states, 370,000 Nigerians hit the streets in each of these states, asking that petrol should sell at 300 naira per litre. Give it 48 hours, the price will be reversed. But Nigerians are not ready yet, so let the suffering continue. And this tweet by Peter says, "You told everyone that you will crash price of commodity in 1 month. You yourself are the one increasing the cost. What a trajectory. Tragedy direction for those following. Heavy tragedy." And Philip Tunde here says, "Tell him to work on exchange rate. NNPC is not the problem, but exchange rate. Confusion everywhere. Tunde Philip here is saying NNPC is not the problem. How can you say NNPC is not the problem? They just spoke about oil theft here. Who do you think is in charge of all those things? You think you can carry that volume of crude oil out of this country without the guys at NNPC and politicians knowing? It's not possible. NNPC is a big part of the problem. The political class, another big part of the problem. And Nigerians are not coming out of this problem until they say enough is enough, unite themselves, stand up, put their foot down, that they cannot continue to suffer like this in a country that has so much. And when they do that, they'll be able to take their country back. And if they take this country back, in less than 365 days of the right person being in office, we will see massive changes. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go.